Here we go. Quiet this evening. Quiet. And here at the main place where I stream from, it's a dark and stormy evening. We need the rain though, so God bless the rain coming down. Welcome everybody this evening. My name is Stuart Davis, flawed man of God, a deacon at a church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. Not a pastor, not a biblical scholar, and I haven't been to seminary. Not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm trying to do is talk about God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus. I changed the order there. Talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, and talk about a wide variety of different topics, issues, and current events, and give you my perspective on them. One that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been a Christian all my life, 40 years, non-denominational Protestant. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the Word, trying to do it better every day. Many times I'll get it right. Often I'll get it wrong. But either way, if I'm streaming on here, you can count on me giving you an honest take on how I feel on what we're discussing. So if you're new to Christianity, or if you're seeking out or wanting to learn more about Christianity and what this whole God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit thing is, maybe you got a voice in the back of your mind wondering if there's more to this life than just your existence here on earth. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. You specifically, I hope that you are able to find what you're looking for. Hope you're able to get answers. Hopefully, what you can get out of this is a very casual, comfortable, relaxed setting for you to learn more about what it is you came here for. Maybe what you find from this layperson perspective will help you reach beyond that and start a path to salvation. That would be the main focus and the main mission of this stream. And whatever I can do to help facilitate that, please let me know. And if you are already a Christian, maybe you've been one for longer than me, maybe you know more than me, maybe you're more well versed and scholarly than I am. Big whoop, it's not that hard to do, but glad to have you here as well. Or maybe you're somewhere in between. No matter what, get in the chat. Get in the chat. Folks are filing in now. We have a great group of folks that tune in and night out. And I'd like you to be one of them. I'd like you to be one of these folks who helps this show be better with your input, your opinions, your perspectives on whatever it is we're talking about. And maybe you've got something you just need help with. Maybe you just want prayer on something. Maybe whatever. Maybe whatever. But get in the chat. I promise you'll have a good time. And with that said, how's everybody doing this evening? Guys, I am beat. It's one of those wearing the undershirt nights tonight. Running all day. Last night was late getting to bed. As you guys know, some of y'all may have picked up, moved over to the El Chaco stream. We streamed until about 11:15-ish Eastern time, and then we talked well past midnight, and then I finally was able to settle down and get to sleep. And then I was woken this morning at 4:30. The dogs were sounding off, like all sorts of stuff was going on. So I grabbed the shotgun and I start doing the building search throughout my house, trying to see if somebody had broken in. Now, normally what I would have done is grab the hatchet, stripped down naked, and just, ran around. But I didn't want my kids to see me like that. Naked, that is. But I wish a home invader would. But yeah. So after that, I'm like, I couldn't get to sleep. So I've been up for a while. I've been up for a while tonight. We're getting ready to paint my son's room. And so we were moving everything around. And I just got finished with that, with enough time to say goodnight to my kids and get up here to stream with you guys. And I still look forward to it. MR's first in the chat. Nico's second. Matt Felty third. It Texan Italian, long time no see in the chat, buddy. I always get like this when Texan Italian doesn't show up. It's terrible. But he's here tonight. And that's a good thing. Guys, we had a good stream last night after the Job stream. It was nice. It was a nice, comfortable conversation. I like that. Like I said, Joel and I have been friends for a while. And I'm proud of you guys. A lot of you guys came over there. Some of y'all may have subscribed, but a lot of y'all came over there, and it was just and it felt like it was a seamless extension of what we do here each night. So that was good. Thank you guys for participating. And Blaine, yes, you too. You're here too. Caught some of the post stream. It was good. And yeah. Whew. So I'm going to try to keep it short. But guys, just a heads up. Tonight's stream is going to be the last stream probably for a little while. All right. Just, like I said, I've got another commitment over the next 2 weeks that's going to be taking up a lot of my time. And it's probably going to keep me from streaming. But I'll try to be more diligent about being in the Discord with y'all. And like I said, maybe I'll use that as an opportunity to talk more about the goings on in my life that I want to share with you guys, but not necessarily put out all over YouTube. So let's get into Job tonight, since didn't take long for the folks to pile in here, and we're going to be talking more about Job. We last left him. He had enough of listening to his friends all pile onto him. Job is such an amazing book. It is. Stuart will be missed. Be all right. Job has had enough of his friends, so-called friends, it feels like, cast aspersions on him without anything much in the way of evidence, or not listening to him. He's like, I haven't done anything. Y'all don't understand. He goes, no, you must have done something. You must have done something. It's not a break, though, MR. It's not a break. It isn't. It's work. It is working. But, so he's it's just like I've said it before. It's just one more dagger in there. Lost the family, lost the property, lost his health, lost his wife for the most part. Maybe she hasn't left him, but she's given up on God. And now his friends they just think it's because he's done some sort of evil thing, or maybe that they think that God is being petty. But they all voice their opinions, and Job is like, you guys are terrible friends. You guys are not helping me in my time of need. You are awful. It's very much the with friends like these, who needs enemies? And so Job is lashed out, and now he's going to close his latest monologue, and then we're going to hear from Eliphaz tonight. So Job speaks on the finality of death. Ooh, finality of death. Man who is born of a woman is short-lived and full of turmoil. That harkens back to the fall and the ending of the Adam and Eve coming out of being cast out of Eden. Full of turmoil, you will toil with the earth and struggle with it. Short-lived and full of turmoil. Like a flower, he comes forth and withers. He also flees like a shadow and does not remain. You also open your eyes upon him and bring him into judgment with yourself. Who can make a clean thing out of the unclean? No one. Since his days are determined, the number of his month is with you in your control, and you have made his limits so he cannot pass his allotted time. O God, turn your gaze from him so that he may rest until he fulfills his day on earth like a hired man. This is very much a please leave me alone at this point. You've done enough. Also, Macbeth plagiarized. You mean Macbeth was plagiarizing this? Job had a time machine. Still, like I said, he's sounding a little Calvinistic here. You have made his limits so he can't pass. The number of his months or his days are determined. Oh God, turn your gaze from him so that he may rest until he fulfills his day on earth like a hired man. You're a hired man that you don't supervise, I guess. Who doesn't supervise their workers from time to time? Oh, man born of woman like Bongo. Yeah. For there is hope for a tree if it is cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the shoots of it will not cease nor fail. But there is no such hope for a man. You have cut me down. Though its roots grow old in the earth, and its stump dies in the dry soil, yet at the scent of water the stump of the tree will flourish and bring forth sprigs and shoots like a seedling. But the brave, strong man must die and lie face down. Man breathes his last. And where is he? As water evaporates from the sea, and a river drains and dries up, so man lies down and does not rise again, until the heavens are no longer. The dead will not awake nor be raised from their sleep. Oh, that you would hide me in Sheol, the netherworld, the place of the dead, that you would conceal me until your wrath is past, that you would set a definite time and then remember me, and in your loving kindness imprint me on your heart. It goes. Emo posting. He is a little, look, he's got an excuse for this, but Job is being a little emo here. It's kind of like my early 20s when I went through my blue period, right? Job is doing this under actual duress and actual reasons to suffer, not me worrying because I couldn't find a girlfriend. And so he says, hide me away and conceal me until you're no longer angry with me, and then find it in your heart to love me again. So again, he feels like there's some reason that God is angry with him. If a man dies, will he live again? Excuse me. If a man dies, will he live again? I will wait all the days of my struggle until my mind change and release will come. Then you will call and I will answer you. You will long for me, the work of your hands. But now you number each of my steps. You do not observe nor take note of my sin. My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and you covered my wickedness from your view. But as a mountain, if it falls, crumbles into nothing, and as the rock is moved from its place, water wears away the stones. Its floods and torrents wash away the soil of the earth. So you, O Lord, destroy the hope of man. You prevail forever against him and overpower him, and he presses on. You change his appearance and send him away from the presence of the living. His sons achieve honor, and he does not know it. They become insignificant, and he is not aware of it. But his body, lamenting its decay, grieves in pain over it, and his soul mourns over the loss of himself. Porcupine mayhem. Long time no see, sir. Hope all is well. Glad to have you in the chat. Been missing you for a while. You change his appearance and send him away from the presence of the living. As a chance to achieve honor, like he doesn't. He's he's getting a little bit more. He's branching out a little bit more, guys. So he's talking about mankind in general. He's like, it's my situation's unique, but it's not all that different from what our destiny is. We eventually die and and waste away. And our sons carry on without us, and we don't get live to see the achievements that we have. We're just not aware of it. Missing a porcupine? Who's emo now? Don't besmirch me. Don't bes don't besmoth me, John. This is this is this is Job's lament here. And like I said, he feels like God has got a lot more control than a lot of free will believers will normally allow for. But or I want to say willful control. It's just interesting to see that this is what he's starting to take away from it. John said, to be fair, I lost 2 cows recently and now I'm back in an emo phase. Sorry to hear that. Moo. There's no use crying over spilt milk. Anyway, I thought that was funny. All right, so he said his piece, right? This is Job seeing his piece. Now we've got Eliphaz. Eliphaz here. Eliphaz says Job presumes much. Eliphaz the Temanite answered Job and said, should a wise man such as you utter such windy and vain knowledge as we have just heard, and fill himself with the east wind of withering, parching, and violent accusations? Should he rebuke and argue with useless talk, or with words in which there is no benefit? I'm crying over having no milk to spill. Literally quite the opposite. Yeah, I understand. Eliphaz comes in with, I mean, there's a lot of sarcasm going on in this book of Job so far, especially between Job and his friends. Oh, you're so smart, and yet you have these long-winded and vainglorious words and orations, and we have to listen to themselves, and you just fill yourself up, and you accuse us of doing bad things as well. Should he rebuke and argue again? And should he rebuke and argue with useless talk or with words in which there's no benefit? He goes, why? I mean, according to you, there's no sense in this. It's words, just words, Veritax. Indeed, you are doing away with fear and you are diminishing meditation before God. For your guilt teaches your mouth, and you choose to speak the language of the crafty and cunning. Your own mouth condemns you and not I. Yes, your own lips testify against you. Were you the first man to be born, the original wise man, or were you created before the hills? Do you hear the secret counsel of God? And do you limit the possession of wisdom to yourself? What do you know that we do not know? What do you understand that is not equally clear to us? Among us are both the gray-haired and the aged, older than your father. Are the consolations of God, as we have interpreted them to you, too trivial for you? Or were we too gentle towards you in our first speech to be effective? Why does your heart carry you away, allowing you to be controlled by emotion? And why do your eyes flash in anger and contempt? That you should turn your spirit against God and let such words as you have spoken go out of your mouth. What is a man that he should be pure and clean? Or he who is born of a woman that he should be righteous and just? Behold, God puts no trust in his holy ones, angels. Indeed, the heavens are not pure in his sight. How much less pure and clean is the one who is repulsive and corrupt, man who drinks unrighteousness and injustice like water. Yeah, oozing with sarcasm is correct. But then it gets more derogatory. Maybe we were too easy on you in our first speeches. Maybe we didn't get it through your head. You are wicked. You have done something. And yet these words where you pretend to be righteous and pure, that only betrays the fact that you aren't. And so I'm left to wonder what indeed it was that you are guilty of, aside from this contempt that we see. We're old. We understand the ways of the world. We are wise. And you here sitting here limiting God. Though I don't know how he's doing that. This is very much becoming, or has become for a while, everybody's waiting for their turn to talk. Like Veritax said last night, I think, or the night before. They're talking past each other at this point. Right? They're listening, but only in the same way that an internet argument breaks down. If y'all guys remember the old forum message boards, arguing on message boards, I know I did my fair share of that, where you parse out the different things that a person says, and you parse it out and you reply to each of that. It really feels like what's going on here. And not just with this response from Eliphaz, but Eliphaz to Job, to Bildad, to Job, to Zophar, to Job, and now back to Eliphaz. Everybody's posting what they want to say. Everybody's posting like they're trying to score points. This is like I said, it's a trial, it's a debate. But Job doesn't want to be put on trial, and he doesn't think this is a debate. He's not talking about this isn't a game to him. This isn't a place to score points. The man's in trouble. The man is troubled. And where he needs support or seeks support from his friends and some sort of understanding or release from God, all he's getting is this crap. It seems like it's very important to Eliphaz that he keeps putting this thing that he saw. And I get that. It probably is sticking with him greatly that this demon, though he said it's a spirit. He doesn't identify it as good or evil, but he seems to put a lot of stock in what it says. Because again, here he is. God puts no trust in his holy ones, and indeed the heavens are not pure in his sight. So if God isn't content with the angels, who are much more righteous than us, how wicked does that make us? And you can see how that subterfuge, right? That psyop that Satan has put into this guy's mind has found more than enough purchase to stick in there. This man is a bit full of himself, and don't get angry with that, because we all tend to be a bit full of ourselves. But because of that, all it takes is, hey, here's some extra stuff that that you can dish out to your friends, like charitable offerings. And now they're much more smarter than they were before because of you. And maybe Job will be ashamed of what he's guilty of if he understands how smart and wise he is, or smart and wise Eliphaz is. A lot of pride. There's a lot of assumptions. There's a lot of, let's just go back to what Blaine says. Job's friends were doing so well until they opened their mouths. Blaine says, I call it the MySpace reply. I still use it in email. I still use it in emails. I've been known to do that once or twice in an email. I made a full-grown man cry one time on a work email. Called in my boss's office about it. It was a vendor who had screwed up, and they were trying to mitigate things, and instead of just coming out and owning it. And then they start to point the finger back at me and start to point the finger back at one of my other vendors, and I was like, "Hold up. We're not gonna go there. Let me tell you where we're gonna go. We're gonna go towards what actually happened and what you need to admit." And somehow that made him cry. Professionally, and it can actually be nice to break the last email into lines with individual responses. Yes, if you have a lot of questions or a lot of stuff you're discussing that you're going back and forth on, yes, it is. But in an argument, we know what it is. You got to be witty in each of those. So, how's it going, Dresden? Glad to have you here. So that's where Eliphaz is, though. He is very much a compromised friend at this point, based on, Satan appearing to him or a demon appearing to him, and the fact that this is so much of what he is basing his logic off of is growing out from that interaction. How do you make a grown man cry with an email? Lol, show me the ways. I don't know. Email a guy who's insecure and emotional. You might get it. Eliphaz is going to continue here. What Eliphaz has seen of life, I will tell you. Listen to me. Oh, yeah. Okay. Very humble approach. I will tell you. Listen to me. And what I have seen, I will also declare. What wise men have freely told and have not hidden anything passed on to them from their fathers, to whom alone the land was given, and no stranger passed among them, corrupting the truth. The wicked man writhes in pain all his days, and numbered are the years stored up for him, the ruthless one. A dreadful sound of terrors is in his ears. While at peace and in a time of prosperity, the destroyer comes upon him. The tent of the robber is not at peace. This is it almost comes with the, this is very similar to the life comes at you fast meme, right? Oh, and things are nice and peaceful and you're doing well, and then all of a sudden, boom. And direct implication is because all this stuff came out of nowhere for Job. And he started the wicked man, the tent of the robber. He does not believe that he will return out of the darkness for fear of being murdered, and he is destined for the sword of God's revenge. He wanders about for food, saying, "Where is it?" He knows that the day of darkness and destruction is already at hand. Distress and anxiety terrify him. They overpower him like a king ready for battle, because he has stretched out his hand against God and behaves arrogantly against the Almighty, running and charging headlong against him with his ornamented and massive shield. For he has covered his face with his fat, adding layers of fat to his thighs, giving himself up to pleasures. And he has lived in desolate, God-forsaken cities, in houses which no one should inhabit, which were destined to become heaps of ruins. He will not become rich, nor will his wealth endure. And his grain will not bend to the earth, nor his possessions be extended on the earth. He will not escape from darkness, fleeing disaster. The flame of God's wrath will wither his branch, and by the blast of his mouth he will go away. Let him not trust in vanity, emptiness, futility, and be led astray, for emptiness will be his reward for such living. It will be fulfilled while he still lives, and his branch will not be green, but shall wither away. He will fail to bring his grapes to maturity, leaving them to wither unnourished on the vine, and will cast off blossoms and fail to bring forth fruit like the olive tree. For the company of the godless is barren, and the fire consumes the tents of bribery, wrong, and injustice. They conceive mischief and bring forth wickedness, and their inmost soul prepares deceit and fraud. Guys, I don't know where he's getting this from. This is Eliphaz is just all like we said, he's kind of all over the map, but he's talking about vanity. He's talking about limiting God. That Job is limiting God. That Job is being vain. That Job is being a liar. That Job is being wicked. What is Job doing to give Eliphaz that impression? The man is deeply upset, and he's crying out to God and saying he didn't do anything to deserve this. Maybe he has not at one point given his friend the benefit of the doubt. How sheltered are these people that they don't see that bad things happen in our lives, sometimes small, medium, or large? It's daily. It's daily that this stuff goes on. I lost my train of thought there, guys. Told you guys I'm tired. Um Seeing someone go through what Job has gone through has to take your breath away as a friend. And maybe that's where he became vulnerable. Always Blaine says always felt like it was a self-report. He outwardly might look good like Job, but does these things he's saying Job does. Might be. I kind of land where Veritax is landing. I seriously wonder if Eliphaz is under demonic possession in that section. I don't think possession, but influence. And I think it's very apparent. I mean, we learn that in his first speaking, and he kind of comes back to it. And like I said, you see this man that you've got a lot of respect for, that you have a deep friendship with, that you care about, and this stuff comes out of nowhere, and you feel like maybe he's not who he said he was. And you're getting visits from spirits who make it seem like your friend isn't who he said he is. And now, instead of standing by your friend and trying to get to the bottom of things, you have internalized this hurt, you've imagined this betrayal. And so now he's just running his mouth because he's mad at Job. Because Job did something. And what does Blaine want to see when you start making accusations? Blaine wants to see the receipts. So does Job. What are you talking about? You say I must have done something evil? What? Meanwhile, Eliphaz is just like, you know what you did. You did that. You did a thing. What thing? There's no, is the only evidence of my crime the fact that I'm being punished for it? That's your logic, Eliphaz? The fact that I was punished or seemingly punished, because Job thinks he's being punished in some way too. Not necessarily for doing something, but that God's just taking something out on him. Job's feeling a little abused now. And again, who wouldn't? But Eliphaz right now, he is he he's out on this own he's in his own head with this tangent. And he didn't have much to respond to Job. He just goes back to his original point and he just wants to rail against it. In the first exchange, Eliphaz tries to show Job that the innocent prosper. In this section, since Job is not prospering, he asserts that Job's pride and lack of humility does not actually fear God. For Eliphaz's reasons, he would not face such suffering if he did. Yeah, I mean, that's what it kind of feels like. But he's not saying he's not telling Job what he did other than pride and vanity. His pride and vanity was that he didn't do anything. Did he do something? Because if you didn't do anything wrong, if you were righteous before God's eyes, it's not pride and vanity that's driving that. He's stating a fact. I didn't do anything to bring this on myself. And Eliphaz, he can't reconcile that. He doesn't believe him. And why doesn't he believe his friend? Maybe he thinks his friend has been lying to him all this time. Veritax said it's like Eliphaz is arguing that it's like Eliphaz is arguing, look at all the things happening around you. Do they not show how wicked Job must be? He's like the Spanish Inquisition screaming at once, confess, confess, right? And I got to ask again, have we found ourselves in Eliphaz's shoes before? Maybe not now. Maybe not since we've grown up. Maybe not since we've matured to the point where we would make the hard right turn, the hard right choice. Sorry, the hard right choice. I know there were times in my life where I didn't make the hard right choice. Where I could have been Eliphaz. Oh, maybe when I'm giving people grief about their beliefs, maybe I'm being Eliphaz there. I don't know. That's not my motivation, but perhaps it's not it's not it's not Eliphaz's motivations either. I mean, we're theorizing on what's going on with Eliphaz. Is he self-reporting? Is he under demonic influence? Is he betrayed? These are all theories, but are we going to condemn the man for what we're theorizing with very little evidence other than just he's angry with his friend? I don't know. Veritex said it may be the speaker Eliphaz gets a kick out of feeling higher than Job in this moment. Well, and that goes back to what we said, what Job was talking about last night. Will you show partiality for him and be unjust to me so that you may gain favor with him? Will you contend and plead for God? And here we go with the self report. Well, will it be well for you when he investigates you and your tactics against me? Or will you deceive him as one deceives a man? Eliphaz. He does come across that way, Veritax. And we'll leave at that point. We'll end at that point. Next stream's going to be a little bit more of the same. As if Eliphaz should be praised for noticing what he thinks he sees in Job. Yeah, right. He's being a little bit of a toady. Not in the good sense, not in the loyal sense. But again, we have to be careful of accusing him with something like this. We write like this is all conjecture, right? This needs to be just a completely academic process. We're not here to say, oh, Eliphaz is definitely his. Now, perhaps God will put things more into perspective when he finally has the last word. But from this point, with what we've seen, there's a lot of ways that we feel like Eliphaz is coming to this very flawed perspective. So I don't want to say he's just an asshole. When maybe this just isn't his best moment. Maybe he's just hurt himself. But even then, if that's the case, he's more worried about his hurt than Job's hurt. Betrayal can make awful people of us. Suspected betrayal in this case can make us into awful, hateful, bitter people. Yeah, and Emmanuel, welcome, and also I was just getting ready to close out. So, all right, reminder: this is going to be a couple of weeks before I stream again, probably. If I can, like I said, if I get a free evening and I can hook it up, we will. Let me know, guys, in the Discord how y'all liked Joel and my discussion, and let me know if there's anybody you would like to see on this show that I could reach out to, or people who have been on this show that you would like to see come back. I'm interested in what you guys want to see on the aside from what we read about in the Bible. So I guess take the next two weeks and ponder that and throw it into Discord, and maybe we'll powwow over that. All right. So do Emmanuel Osorio, and you just making the chat. Thanks, Emmanuel. So Emmanuel new to it, just getting into the chat. I'll also invite Drex and Nick would be hilarious. Oh yeah, well, I mean, trying to get Nick on there is difficult, and Drex is enough on. Dude, he is getting Christian Mario is getting murdered on that thread. Hans Feeney came out and called him. Look, all right, guys, we're gonna look. Christian Mario, who is a friend of this show, who I have a great deal of love for. I'm gonna bring this up here. Thank you, Nerd. This happened about a half hour before the stream started, I think. Before the stream sharded. So Mario says, "Wrestling is gay. If you like wrestling, I'm extremely suspect of you." Low T take from me, from Hans Hans Feeney, Wimp Cope, is Matthew Pearson, who is a very close friend of of Mario's. I don't care for wrestling, but this is an L take. Oh, there's some other ones in here, but he is just getting he is just getting destroyed in these comments. Men need blood sports. If you can't fight naked, can you really fight? Christ wrestled Jacob all night one time. Wrestle a bear. Wrestling is based, actually. What's actually gay is not being capable to defend yourself against a guy who tries to grab you and put you on the ground. This didn't take long to happen. This, like I said, this is over the course of an hour. This is going. When did he post this? 7:30. 7:30. We're not even 2 hours, and he is just getting wasted. He deserves it. He deserves it. Why are you gay? Why are you gay? Maybe they are angry because Job's business also affected their business as partners. Perhaps. We don't know. Like I said, all we're doing kind of the same thing that they're doing to Job. And that's why we have to be careful about this. We have to take it at its word. What we can say is what they're saying is wrong. Why they're saying it, we don't know. Could they just be foolish? Could they be vindictive? Could they be all these other things? Or are they just foolish? Doesn't matter because it doesn't help. Blaine says, "Love wrestling. I love wrestling." Porcupine said, "Send up prayers for my family, gents. We have had a rough couple of months." All right, not a problem, Porcupine. You've got from what I've seen, a great family, and I know that you care deeply about them, and maybe there's some stressors going on with illness, stress, whatever's going on, loss. We care about you, Porcupine. We care about your family. So, yes, we will be praying for you, sir. Veritex said, or maybe they were only Job's friends because of Job's affluence, and now he's literally worth a lot less. He's literally worth nothing. He is literally a leper. Daniel's angel wrestled with the Prince of Babylon too. Archangel Michael helped. The first tag team, the Legion of Doom. Veritex said, I got to decide which job offer to accept tomorrow. Spent 3 hours looking today, nearly made myself sick mentally. Just draw out the pros and cons. Maybe if you've got a close confidant who knows you well, a brother or a sister, a family member of some sort, like I said, somebody you trust who you trust knows you very well, and just kind of go over this list and have a discussion with them. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that could be the tiebreaker. MR, I know MR's got some decisions to make professionally. So we got some folks out there, guys, who need some prayer, need some help, and there you go. Veritex said, "Yeah, I did that. I have a spreadsheet. I'm having to realize that something changed this summer, and I'm not the same person I was when I interviewed for one of them." Very interesting. Very interesting. That do tend to change the equation. So pray for Mario as well as he. Well, that's what I said. That's what started this whole thing. Please pray for my friend that he should not be afflicted with such terrible discernment. Pray for Mario that he can recover from this. But really, in all seriousness, keep Porcupine and his family in your prayers. Keep Veritax decisions in your prayers, and keep Veritax in your prayers. And again, put your opinions, people that you want to see. Do you want to see more Joel Chaco? Do you want to see more Christian Mario on here defending his terrible takes on wrestling? Stuff like that. So, Veritax, Nico, Matt, Felty, Nernaeth, Porcupine, Blaine, Emmanuel, Dresden, John Smoth, Texan Italian, MR. If I didn't already say MR. And I think that's it for tonight for the guys in the chat. Guys, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your input. Thanks you for the laughs. Thank you for giving your takes on Job. I mean, we are observers, right? So it is in our nature to try to want to understand what's going on, right? But remember what that makes us when we start theorizing and setting establishing ourselves on something that maybe we don't have the whole story on. And that's not to say that I don't want to hear these theories from you guys. I just thought it was interesting that when we end up doing that, This is a theoretical exercise for us. This is a study in what has happened. This is hindsight going back. So we have that benefit. And some of us know how this book ends. All right, guys. Like I said, thank you guys for making this show better. Y'all do. Y'all are absolutely fantastic. To the folks who were listening and didn't respond, I always encourage folks to join the chat. If you've got something to say, please say it. Don't mind though if you're just listening. But I'm glad that I'm worth you listening to. I'm glad that I'm worth your time. To everybody catching me on the replay, hope to catch you live soon. Remember, next several days, I'm not going to be streaming, but I want to hear. In the meantime, keep in mind, just start thinking about what content you'd like to see as well. In addition to what we do with the Bible, guests, topics, all sorts of stuff. Throw it at me, throw it at the Discord, and I'll be on the lookout for it. Like the episode if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share this with your friends. Share this with your coworkers. Share this with your enemies. Share this with anybody you think this might be useful for. Give me the shout out. I don't care about money. Like I said, this is a hobby for me. But what I would like to do is spread the word. At least in my way. You guys be good and be safe while I'm gone. Keep those folks in your prayers. All right. Hopefully, when we all come back or when we all meet up next, at least some folks have got some good news to report on. Hopefully, everybody does. But as we see in Job, sometimes hard times come on us. We just got to deal with it. But we know that even though there are hard times in life, after we pass from this world and leave behind all these worldly things, it's perfection. He is preparing a home for us, guys. I can't wait to see y'all there. Everybody have a good night, and God bless.